battery box mod here. It's on a Sportster. This is my voltage regulator that's off the front. I moved it, but if somebody wanted to do a lithium ion mod their box, their battery box for lithium ion to fit it specifically, it's pretty easy. It's just 3 bolts, and here, and there's a nut underneath. Underneath here, you find that, and you gotta disconnect the gravity switch and pull it out, and then you gotta have a way to cut and weld it, because I took about that much off the battery box, and it makes it shorter for lithium ion. And then the other problem is the battery is usually lower. Some guys will just get a lithium ion, they'll stick it in their battery box and put foam around it, and then put the battery cover, the stock battery cover on some bikes. And I don't know if Sportsters they have that or not, but mine didn't come with one. And I thought, well, I'll just make it look good without it, because a battery box cover is going to weigh something, and I'm trying to pinch ounces here. So I made this thing out of King Starboard. It's a marine product. It's you can work it with woodworking tools like this. All this relief stuff in the back I did with a router, and the battery spot that the butt of the battery goes into with a router, and this lip here, and then routed. It's pretty much all router. You cut it out so it fits. This thing fits in here like this. Real simple. Battery goes in here. Now on this too, some batteries, see how the negative is on the left and the positive's on the right when it goes in like this? Okay, well, that's backwards, right? Okay, well, it's no big deal, because what you do is you take your ground wire and bring it through this hole in the battery box. And then when you do weld this side back on, you got to make sure that this spot down here for the this spot down here for the clip is clear. See, because that hook has to go through here on the band. Okay, so that's when you weld this back together. And then this I had the bridge. Sometimes you got to add something in there, but you got to make sure that your spot for your hook is clear. Okay, and then when you make this part, see how I got this little notch in here? That's where the hook goes for the band. That's important. Okay, so when you do this, when you cut it, before you cut it, make sure you recognize where that spot is on the side plate, and then weld the side plate back on in the shortened box, and make sure you have a little clearance on the battery on the other side. And then you make this part with a router and King Starboard, and then you put that in there, and then I got to get a longer battery cable to go to the starter motor. My positive will come up, but as long as the 2 battery cables are crossing in this area, it's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. And you got these little rubber bumpers here. You got to take those out. You got to take the sensor off. You got to clean off the whole box so you can cut it and weld it. And then you get Eastwood, that 2K Eastwood chassis black gloss. Okay, you go to Eastwood, and you go 2K paints, chassis black gloss. That matches Harley Davidson frames. Any work you do on the frame, you can touch it up with that. But it's only good once, because it's a catalyzing. It catalyzes. It's not something that dries. It's like you put this cap underneath of the thing and you slam it on the concrete, and it punches a hole in the second chamber, and it mixes the two components together, and it dries. It's just like factory. It's freaking hard catalyzed paint. Okay, because you're gonna burn all that off when you weld this thing together. And then any other chassis mods you do, same thing, Eastwood chassis black. Anyways, this is king starboard and a rotor, boom. That raises up your battery and gives it a location. And then you bring your cables up through here. You probably have to make a longer one. You might have to make longer ones altogether. I'm lucky I was just low enough where this one reached. I had to rerouting that from the bolt that it's on, but you can move it to a different bolt. And then the positive, you probably have to make a longer battery. If your positive and negative are reversed like that, that's the way to get by that. Anyhow, and the battery goes in, and you hook this thing in here, and then of course this is malleable. Okay, this part is malleable. You can shape that band however you want. You cut it off. You make a new hook on the bottom. See, I just made a new hook because this is shorter because the battery is skinnier. And then that just hooks on there. Just like normal. Goes in there. That goes on. And then, double nut it. Okay, I suppose I can get this on here, but I'm trying to do it with one hand. And there it goes. And the nut goes on here. I can't see very good. The sun's blasting in my eyeballs. I try to keep the camera in the shadow there, but it's. Oh, and then I got heat shrink tubing. I put heat shrink tubing on these corners. I think that's a good idea too. But if you look at this, no battery cover. It'll take me a while to get this tightened up, but I suppose I can do that real quick. No battery cover. It looks good. Whoops, that was my finger in the way. Back up a little bit. I can't see anything. It's just freaking so much glare on the screen. I can't really hardly see what I'm pointing at, but I can barely. But anyways, you don't have a battery cover. It's all it's holding is the king starboard piece in the bottom, cupping the bottom, and then the band pushing down into that. So when you get it tight, you should be able to shake the whole bike just grabbing onto the battery, and then just probably double nut it, and you're good. Anyway, so that's a modded battery box specifically designed for that lithium-ion battery. And I did leave a little space up here because I wanted to be able to get in here and hook up some auxiliary wires and stuff like that for USB charger and stuff. But see how the battery is actually lower here in this piece. If you wanted to get it exact, you'd probably have to route in less, or maybe get a piece of 1-inch king starboard. I think that would be the best bet. It's a 1-inch thick piece of king starboard, and then the Eastwood chassis black, and some heat shrink tubing that'll fit over this band, and then you just mod the band, and it's real simple like that. Custom.